Dear pupils, so this is our first lesson in the English course within the private school Abu Abdullah. We are today, Wednesday, 26th January 2022. So as you look on the whiteboard, we are going to deal with the reported speech. It is a very important lesson within Unit 3, which is concerning with the findings show, which is called Our Findings Show. So, big one, discover the language, sequence 2. So, our lesson today is with, as I have said, reported speech. And all of you, you know this lesson, more or less. It is a very important lesson. You have to master it. You, pupils of first year literary stream, you have to master this lesson because it's so important in your training, in your lessons, and you are going to use it on the second year and even on the third year secondary, of course. So, we start. The reported speech. First of all, we have to know what is a reported speech. So we can call it also direct and indirect speech. So we have here, first, we have here direct speech. This is a definition of this first criteria, the first one, direct speech. What is a direct speech? So it means to say exactly what someone else said. It means to say exactly. I insist on the word exactly. Because the direct, so when we say direct, so automatically we are talking about the words as they have been told by the person. So what says exactly a person or someone else, it is put inside quotation marks, these ones, quotation marks. So I repeat, the direct speech, c'est-à-dire le style direct, c'est quoi? C'est les paroles ou bien les mots comme ils étaient dites par la personne elle-même. Donc je suis en train de traduire pour que le message passe 100%. It means to say exactly the words said by the person. How can we know it is a direct speech? How can we know? Or how can we distinguish the direct speech? We can distinguish it by the marks, the quotations. هادو inverted squares or quotations. This is which tells us that it is about a direct speech. Example, I can have here an example of a direct speech. For example, I can say, Jack said, I am sorry. Let's write an example here. Let's write an example. Jack said. And we put the two dots, which means that we are going to say the words which Jack has said. We put also the inverted squares or the quotations. I am sorry. And we close the squares. John said, two dots, I am sorry. These quotations means that these words, I am sorry, were said by Jack exactly. Okay? The second part is concerning the indirect speech now. So what about the indirect speech? Or the reported, we can call it indirect or we can call it reported speech. It is usually used to talk about the past, so we normally make some changes. And I insist on the changes. So you are concerned with the changes. You pupils, your mission is to master and to know how to make the changes. We use report, okay, I'm going to talk later about the verbs, I repeat. So the reported speech, reported, not direct words of a person, but they are reported, said by another one. It is usually used to talk about the past. So in general, always we use past tense, we're going to see after. We normally make some changes, okay? The changes are very important. We use reporting verb or verbs like, so here we have say, tell, ask, and we may use the word that to introduce the reported words. I repeat, the introductory verbs like say, tell, ask. We use them to introduce the words said by another person. For like here, like Jack said, so this is the verb to say. Jacques said. Jack a dit. Donc, c'est les verbes introducteurs. Say, tell, ask. There are many verbs, too many verbs, but we are going to deal just by these three verbs. We start by these three ones. Okay, so, and we may use the words, that to introduce the reported words. So that is a very important word when changing into indirect speech to introduce the reported words. And of course, we don't use quotes. So these quotes, these ones don't exist in the indirect speech or indirect style, we can say that also. So to make indirect speech, we need to change tenses, place, time, expressions, and pronouns. I repeat, in order to make the indirect speech, we need to change tenses. You know what are tenses? I know that you know, we have explained this before. Place, time, expressions, and pronouns we are going to see later on. Okay? I insist on the changes because you are concerned with the changes from the direct speech to the indirect speech and vice versa. I'm going to write now the second example. We keep the same example about Jack. So Jack, the example here, Jack, in the first position, we said, Jack said, two dots, squares, I am sorry. When we report what Jack said, we say, Jack said, and here starts the changes. Jack said that. Look, we omit, we pick the two dots and the squares, we omit them and we replace them by that. So this is the l'astuce. Jack said that he was sorry. And also we keep away the, as I've said, the inverted squares and the two dots. The quote. Jack said that he was sorry. So look here. Look at the changes that happened to this sentence. In the first sentence, the verb was am. So this is the verb to be, of course, in the infinitive. The verb was am, so it is which tense? The present tense. The present tense. But when we change it or when we transform it into the indirect speech, it becomes was. which is the past tense. Okay? So two major or two principal changes, you have to be careful with them, which are the first one, omitting the two dots and the squares, replacing them by that, the introductory pronoun if you want, that to introduce the reported speech. And the second one, and the very, very important feature, which is the tenses changes. So it was present, it became past tense. Okay? So we sum up what we said before, passing to the second part of our lesson concerning the timetable about tenses, the changes. So we said that the direct speech is words as they have been told by the person himself or herself. We don't change anything. We use the introductory verb, like say, tell or ask. We use the two dots, we open the squares, and we say what the person said or says. Okay, this is the direct speech. So when we say speech or a discourse, speech, le discours, ولا الخطاب. Okay, this is concerning the direct speech. Concerning the indirect speech or the reported speech, the same thing. So we have very important changes to make, especially with the tenses, yes, tenses to change them. We are going to deal with the tenses in a form of a table in the following part, okay? So now I am going to move to the second part, as I have told you, which is in form of a table. You have to listen carefully because it is very important. This is one from the very important lesson that sometimes pupils struggle with, so you have to listen carefully. Number 2, tenses. Okay? I start by writing or drawing my table. So in the first column, we have the direct speech here, and the second column B, the second column, we have the reported speech. The first tense, as we have seen on the examples, we start by the simple present. Okay, you know how we conjugate this verb. The example here is, for example, yes, he said, said is an irregular verb. The infinitive is to say. So he said, we put the two dots, we open the squares, and we say, I eat cheese. You know what is cheese? I know that you know it. All of you love this food. Okay. So he said, I eat cheese. Look, he said the exact words said by him. This is a person. I eat cheese. Okay. When we transform from the direct speech to the indirect speech or the reported speech, we say the verb becomes simple. Simple what? Simple past. And be careful with the verb. Look here, the verb to eat. And the transformation became, he said, and here we start. We omit the two dots and the squares, and we replace them by that. He said that. Like in French, il a dit que. Il a dit que. Okay? He said that. He. So look, the pronoun, we're going to see the pronouns, how the changes that happen. Pronouns. When he was talking, he said, I eat. When another person reports what he said, so it became he. He said that he. And the verb eat. So it is an irregular verb to eat. I know that you know the irregular verbs. We have made them last week to eat. So he ate cheese. And we put a dot, full stop. Look, he said that he ate. Look at the verb. You are concerned with verbs. Okay? So this is concerning the simple present, which becomes in reported speech the simple past. The second tense is the present continuous. The present continuous. You know what is the present continuous? We have talked about this tense concerning the long action. We keep the same example. He said, two dots, open the squares, I am eating cheese. We close the quote. Okay? He said, I am eating. You know that the present continuous is composed of the verb to be, the verb stem, and the ing form. So the present continuous in direct speech, when we transform it in reported speech, we have the past continuous. The past continuous, okay? Let's make the change. So we keep the first part. We keep the first part, the part of the introductory verb as it is. He said, so we may have he, we may have Fatima, we may have Muhammad, we may have Jack, we may have the teacher, whatever. We keep away the two dots and the squares and we replace them by that. He said that, and here starts the change of the personal pronoun. In first we have I. When he was talking, he said I am eating cheese. When we transform, we said, he said that he. Be careful. I'm eating became or becomes he was eating cheese. Cheese. He was eating cheese. Look at the transformation. I can't use too many colors because of the camera, so just the blue and the black color is seen on the camera. Well, I am eating cheese. He said that he was eating cheese. This is about the present continuous. We continue. The other tense, which is simple past, will, yes, future. Future. You know, future, we write future with E. not like in French, okay? Future in English with the E at the end. So in future with will plus verb. We are going how it's transformated. So she said now, we change. She said, two dots, the squares. I will eat cheese. And we close the inverted squares. She said, I will eat cheese. This is the future. Look at the tense. Look at the tense. We change. So future with will becomes future but with would. Okay? This is a modal will. The modal will is transformed into modal, but in the past form. You know that modals are semi-verbs which accept only the past form. So will became would. We transform. She said, she said that, okay? She said that, when she was talking, she said I. When I transform, I say she. She said that she would eat cheese. And we put a full stop. Okay? She said, I will eat cheese. She said that she would eat cheese. So the past form here is taken or is made by the modal will, and the verb keeps as it is in the infinitive or in its stem form. Okay? We are going to talk also about can and must. Also they are, look, we have too many tenses to deal with in the reported speech. The present, the past, the past continuous, the present perfect, the past perfect. But we start by these three tenses. You have to master them, and after that we are going to add the other tenses. Now we have can. Can. You know what is can? She said. She said, I can eat cheese. Okay? We keep the same example in order to show you where are the modifications or the transformations, in order to notice them easily. She said, I can eat cheese. We keep the same thing, and can become could. Okay? She said, we omit the two dots and the squares, we replace them by that. She said that she could eat cheese. Okay? So this is a model, can, and it accepts only one tense, which is the past form. And the last one, we have must. You know what is must. We have deal with this word. It becomes had to. And the example, always the same. She said, I must eat cheese. Okay, when we use must, we are explaining obligation. We are talking about obligation. I must eat cheese. Transformation. She said that she had to eat cheese. So these are the most important changes of the most important tenses that you have to master, and you have to make them when asking on different activities, on different exercises that you have to do. So this is our first part from our lesson, reported speech. In the next part, we are going to deal with time and places and also with the pronouns. So see you soon. Goodbye.